Hi everyone, my name is Julia Lenner, and today I'm going to be presenting about the program that I've created around childhood obesity using the social cognitive theory model. Just giving a little background knowledge on my topic. The prevalence of obesity is 18.5% and affects about 13.7 million children and adolescents within the age of 2 to 19 years old. The percentage of children and adolescents affected by obesity has more than tripled since the 1970s. A child is defined as affected by obesity if their body mass index and/or BMI for age percentile is greater than 95%, and a child is defined as overweight if their BMI for age percentile is greater than 85% and less than 95%. 1 in 5 school-aged children and younger people aging around 6 to 19 years old in the US have obesity. It's the most common chronic disease of childhood, and looking at prevalence for different ages, it's 13.9% among 2 to 5-year-olds, 18.4% among 6 to 11-year-olds, and 20.6% among 12 to 19-year-olds. Childhood obesity is also more common among certain populations along with certain ethnicities. There are 5 factors associated with childhood obesity, starting off with environmental. We know that technology holds a huge part in influencing children to do certain things, go certain places, and eat certain things. So television commercials promoting unhealthy foods and eating habits is a large contributor. It is estimated that approximately 40 to 50% of every dollar that is spent on food is spent on food outside of someone's home, so at places such as restaurants, cafeterias, concession stands at sporting events, etc. When people eat out, they tend to eat larger quantities of food, and the consumption of soda by children has increased throughout the last 20 years by 300%. Scientists have found and documented a 60% increased risk of obesity for every regular soda consumed per day. And 20% of children who are currently overweight are overweight due to excessive caloric intake from beverages such as juice boxes and sodas. So looking into lack of physical activity, children in today's society show a decrease just in overall physical activity. The growing use of computers, increased time watching television, and decreased physical education in schools contribute to this sedentary life that children are now living. School-aged children spend more of their day in schools where their only activity comes from recess and or if they have a physical education class in general. Currently, only 8% of elementary schools and less than 7% of middle schools and high schools have daily physical education requirements in the US. So moving on to dietary patterns, the average amount of calories consumed per day has dramatically increased. The increase in caloric intake has also decreased the nutrients needed for a healthy diet. Portion size has also gotten larger. The prevalence of supersize and all-you-can-eat buffets creates a trend in overeating. Combining this with a lack of physical activity, it means that the children are consuming more and burning off less calories. Socioeconomic status, children and adolescents that come from lower income homes are at a greater risk of being affected by obesity. Lower income children cannot always afford to take part in extracurricular activities, which results in a decrease in physical activity. In addition to that, families who struggle to pay bills and make a living often opt for convenience foods, which are higher in calories, fats, and sugars. And also education level has a huge part. Parents with little to no education on proper nutrition and healthy food choices, it makes it more difficult to instill those important values to their children. Lastly, looking at hereditary and family, it is estimated that hereditary contributes between 5 to 25% of the risks for obesity. Children who are considered affected by obesity are 70% more likely to continue being affected by obesity into adulthood. In addition, they are at greater risk for serious medical issues such as heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, as like an increased risk of impaired glucose tolerance, insulin resistance, sleep apnea, and or breathing problems such as asthma and sleep apnea. Obesity during childhood can harm the body in a variety of ways. Children who have obesity are more likely to have joint problems, musculoskeletal discomfort, fatty liver disease, gallstones, gastroesophageal reflux, and or heartburn, and cancer. Aside from the clinical perspective, children who are affected by obesity face psychological problems such as anxiety and depression, low self-esteem, low self-reported quality of life, and social problems such as bullying and stigmas. If children have obesity, their obesity and disease risk factor in adulthood are likely to be more severe. On to the purpose and objectives of the program that I've created. So the purpose of this program is to use social cognitive theory to implement activities and strategies to help promote the program and create awareness for the condition. The mission statement that I've created is that the mission for this program is to acknowledge the uprising condition within children and adolescents and to implement proper techniques in school settings to promote a healthy lifestyle. Educational sessions will be provided to parents and their children, along with school administrators, school food services, the State Board of Education, and this will all address the issues at hand and to promote healthy behavior changes for children and adolescents. Now, here are my objectives. All of them are measurable, and we could talk about that a little bit later in the evaluation. But after the presentation is given, more than half the participants will enforce in utilizing preventative measures and reduce the risk of childhood obesity. Each child should be able to identify 2 components that contribute to living a healthy lifestyle. Within 5 years of the start of this program, I would like to see an increase in public schools that provide physical education programs along with health promotion courses and or just health courses. Once the educational presentation is given, hopefully parents will gain the confidence in making an impact on their child's health. And by the year 2030, the prevalence rate of childhood obesity will decrease. Now, the methods that I've used for my program, so just giving a little reflection and review of what social cognitive theory is. It's a human behavior that can be explained as a triadic reciprocal causation. So there's 3 factors associated with it: behavioral, environmental, and personal, and or cognitive. And the connection between these 3 factors will result in a behavioral change. So my target population is children and adolescents between the ages of 4 to 18 within a rural community in the United States. The behaviors to be changed and looked at is to just help develop children's knowledge about better nutrition choices, curriculum including physical education and health promotion courses, and parents' confidence in keeping their children healthy. So I used 2 articles. The first article, the key question was, to what extent does social cognitive constructs predict 4 behaviors? And those 4 behaviors are limiting television viewing, performing daily moderately intense physical activity for at least 60 minutes per day, increase fruit and vegetable intake to 5 or more cups per day, and increasing water consumption in upper elementary African American children. The sample size was 222 African American students, grades 4 through 6, within 3 public schools in 2 large Midwestern cities. The methodology used was 56-item scale conducted by 6 experts, and the constructs that we looked at were self-efficacy, self-control, and expectations. So the data collected and that I provide on the slides is the 4.33 cups, the 4.27 servings, and 73.72 minutes are the mean numbers that were provided within the text, and the ones in parentheses are the recommended. So what we can conclude from this is that the students need to have a health education intervention concerning water consumption, and it suggests that they have one with fruits and vegetable consumption as well, and also that more research and studies need to be performed concerning this target population. Now, I really liked this article because it focused on all of the articles that have used social cognitive theory along with a certain topic concerning childhood obesity. So the key question was, what is the efficacy of SCT strategies on obesity prevention? The sample was they found 16 studies that were reviewed and had a primary focus on health behavior and or physical activity change within children. Methodology used was the articles were categorized based on research design, SCT construct, and behavior changes that were presented, and the constructs of theory that were looked at were environmental, cognitive, and behavioral. So the data analyzed for cognitive, they saw that alone it might not be responsible for changing children's eating behaviors. For environmental, they saw that it may not have an effect on excessive weight gain, but can help promote healthy eating behaviors. And for behavioral, they saw that there's a connection between one's perceived self-efficacy and one's ability to perform a healthy action. So overall reflection is that environmental, cognitive, and behavioral factors act together to influence children's decisions in living a healthy lifestyle. However, more research needs to be done to fill in blanks such as gender having an effect with behavioral factors. As for developing my health promotion program, the goals are to reduce the risk of developing obesity within children ages 4 to 18, to gather resources needed for parents to feel confident in keeping their kids healthy, to develop a better system in monitoring cafeteria food and physical activity within a public school, and to educate a target population on living a healthy lifestyle. So on top of educational sessions that will hopefully have guest speakers, we're going to have activities for both the children and adults. So for children, we're going to get them active. We're going to do some games that'll be run by local recreational representatives, a food evaluation to help differentiate what the menu should look like at school so that it's both healthy but also that the kids enjoy the food. Also get some coloring in, so like a coloring book or something like that. Watching cartoons that'll like promote physical activity and eating a healthy diet. So an example is Popeye, and there was actually research done that watching Popeye helped kids eat vegetables because they saw that once he ate spinach that he became big. So it's kind of like a role model perspective. Listening to guest speakers, so our guest speakers can include like local high school all-state athletes and or local professional athletes, and creating goals, so having them create short-term, long-term goals in a journal that they can complete, whether it's like joining the soccer team and or just like eating vegetables in every meal. So as for adults, we're going to create scenarios such as, okay, what do I do if my kid doesn't eat their vegetables? So kind of creating things so that if something were to occur that they'd be able to handle it properly. They're also going to be creating short-term, long-term goals, creating an at-home schedule. So, okay, this is how much screen time my kid's going to have. This is how much outdoor activity. Dinner's going to be served at this time so that the kids can adjust to that and they can all work together. Educational sessions will be provided, and also just an open discussion to seeing how people's strategies have worked, what hasn't, and kind of just building off of one another. For recruitment, we're going to be putting flyers all over the place, setting up tables at local recreational facilities, and putting flyers up there. The flyers can be sent. Hopefully we could get a mailing thing going, and or we'll just put them in the public schools and have the kids bring them home. Using digital marketing tools, so making a Facebook page of the event and seeing the people that are going to be going and having them ask questions and things like that. Building connections within the schools, so talking with the teachers, having them promote the program through their classroom and things like that to the kids. Providing activities that combine learning with fun so that the kids are more eager to come to the programs instead of, oh, that's not fun, I'm not going to go back to that. And just word of mouth in general. So if somebody enjoyed the program, having them talk to their friend and hopefully increasing our community. So also hopefully we get some support from certain sponsors and vendors. So we're looking at local food businesses, hopefully getting some people from the farmers market to sell vegetables and fruits at the program, along with getting local recreational facilities and or daycares to help promote the program and just promote their businesses to show the parents that they do have a support system within the community. So moving on to evaluation and conclusion, we're going to evaluate most of the stuff within the program through surveys. So I'm hoping to give both the adults and children surveys and just make it easy. We're going to try to put it online with a link. If that doesn't work, we're going to have just papers provided at the exit. Now, for the kids, it can be hard to get a kid to sit down and do a survey. So every survey that the kid does, we're going to give them a goodie bag, and it's going to just have like a fact sheet, a healthy snack, and or a ball to play with. Now, statistical data is also going to be a big thing because we're going to need to take the data prior to our program starting and then seeing the growth of it, or just seeing the difference between, okay, when our program started, this is the number, and now that our program has done very well, what is the number now? So looking at statistical data when it comes to physical education classes in public schools and things like that. Communication is going to be huge, so just talking with the local community and seeing how they liked it. Looking at social media, we can create a hashtag so that people can put the hashtag in certain pictures and certain posts that they make to show that the program is working, and that'll help get the word out about the program as well. I was thinking of an example around me. There's like a city moms page, so like Danbury's moms page, where they all share like different things that they've done and what they like and things like that, so hopefully it can spread just like that page as well. So in conclusion, overall, this program will thrive informing people how healthy behavior, cognitive, and environmental factors contribute to controlling childhood obesity numbers within a community. If the program runs off of the people's input, the people will continue to come back and talk about their experiences with others. This program has potential and can have a huge impact on rural communities all around the United States that struggle with childhood obesity. And here are my references.